Welcome to Oil and Whiskey, an Ironclad original. I am Josh Henning.
I'm Phil Gerber.
I'm Jeremy Gerber.
Welcome to Oil and Whiskey, an Ironclad original, presented by Blade HQ. Whether you're into cars, motorcycles, hunting, fishing, grilling, or any number of things, you've got the tools that you swear by. Have you ever noticed that the tool that finds its way into every job is a knife? Do you have one that you swear by? If not, it's time you got one. And Blade HQ is the place to get it. They've got knives to fit any hand, any belt, any job, and any budget. Just go to bladehq.com/oil and whiskey to shop their selection of knives.
You knocked that out of the fucking park.
That was well done.
Ready to go.
Fuck
Boom.
yeah, nicely done.
Well, when it's talking about Blade HQ, it's easy.
Yeah,
Like,
piece of cake.
I think we've all spent
Many
too
monies.
much time.
Monies and time.
Yeah. IT shut my gateway to Blade
got
HQ
blocked.
off.
Yeah. Actually, Phil told IT to
Okay. Today we're going to be talking with Gale Banks, president of Gale Banks Engineering and an all-around American icon in the automotive performance business. We'll also take some of your questions, plus a new glove box segment, and we might just have a little bit more. But before we get to the interview, we've got a new segment. Roadster Shop Hall of Fame Build Recap. Throwback. Friday.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah. I just added a few of those to it.
After work.
Tonight,
5:30.
after hours.
Starting now.
This is a brand new segment. We're going to be breaking down some of our all-time favorite builds. And this week, what do we got? It's the Rampage Camaro. And it's perfect because it just got featured in the brand new 1.0 whatever something update for Gran Turismo 7.
I think this is probably the most exciting thing I've seen. Get an email saying, in case you haven't heard, the new update of Gran Turismo 7 is coming out tomorrow and your car will be featured.
That's not many people can say that.
Nope.
Yeah, very few.
Pretty fucking cool.
So we won the Gran Turismo Award, I think it was 2015, with the Rampage Camaro out at SEMA. And the big kind of, award of the award is that your car was going to be featured in the Gran Turismo video game.
Fast forward 7 years later.
Yeah. Fast forward 7 years later.
What was the promise was like a year or something, right?
Yeah.
It's like the following year it would be featured.
Yeah, but they wanted to come out with the new PlayStation 5.
Got it.
Yeah.
Because that car was worthy of the graphics that the PlayStation
Yeah,
5
I'd say
did.
hindsight, so much happier that they waited this long.
Right.
The graphics are absolutely insane. It's like more real than the actual real car. The sound, the pops, the engine noise it's dead on to the car.
Dude, it's
From the videos I've watched, I mean, we've got a lot of video game guys here, gamers, if you will, here in the shop. I haven't played video games in quite some time. I'm searching for the black market PlayStation 5 to just get Gran Turismo to see Rampage. And
oh yeah, dude, I love
your son's got to be fucking.
He's gonna be
stoked.
so stoked. That's his favorite car. That's always been his favorite car. We ripped it when he was. I mean, shit, he was like 6 years old or something, and we'd take that thing out and just rip on it. I mean, that car was just made to just absolutely punch. Yeah. And it's funny because you see these comments like coming up, and I forget about it because it's been a while. But like Kyle had mentioned something about how he's like, I got my ass handed to me in a drag race by that car. And I'm thinking to myself, like, Kyle plays a lot of video games. So I'm like, dude, are you like playing the game? Did you have the game already? What are you doing? Like, tell me about the drag race. And then I realized, I'm like, oh yeah, that was the Wakanda cruise night we went to. And I'm driving the car and he's driving the Survivor 68 Camaro that we had, the gold one that Dave's got.
No
now,
contest.
We pull up next
500
to
horsepower difference.
Yeah, we pull up next to each other at a red light on Fairfield. Fairfield and 176, and
in Mexico,
in Hecho in Mexico, and just fucking eat him to death over there. And that car is just an absolute animal. I mean, I was driving it on slicks, and you can't get out of it either. So it's like that's not like a first, second gear pull. That's like a first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and then you're doing like several hundred miles an hour. That car is that was such an exhilarating car to drive and such a fun project to build.
It was the coolest blend of just hardcore, raw, badass fucking race car, purpose built, and then putting all of our level of detail and design into it, building all these just badass machine components and
functional, cool.
Yeah.
I remember actually there's two very vivid memories of that car. First time I saw it was at SEMA. I was not employed by the Roadster shop at that time, but we were friends, and I was helping you unload it out of the rig for SEMA.
And it had like a 16th
that
on
was
each side of the trailer, trying to get it out of
hairy
there.
unload.
Yeah.
But just looking
be careful
over,
how wide you make cars. That's
who
Yeah, because you
should be
follow that up
No,
next year with a Colorado. We had to buy a custom
Yeah.
trailer and then
Well,
build an enclosure
I know,
to
that's
get it on the
right.
fucking trailer.
That's why I'm telling the
who,
listeners
who should be
like,
careful.
Don't
Everybody
make
else,
the same mistakes that I make, because not only do you have the cost of the car, but then when you get to the point of like the Colorado, you get
I
a
remember-
$10,000
I remember when the
trailer that you have
Colorado-
to buy because nothing will hold it.
when the Colorado was there and it was on the gooseneck, and we remember talking to Phil, and Phil's like, my fucking brother can't build anything fucking wide enough, just wider and wider and wider.
And it's like I say, I'm like a fucking eagle. Like I'm a bird, man.
Let
You
you
can't
fly.
clip my wings.
What's the eagle say?
Let me fly. It says,
But that
But-
honestly, everybody that was involved with Rampage, that's got to be quite the feather in the cap.
yeah, very cool. Chris Gray played a big role in the design work on it. Chad, my homeboy, Chad Glasshagel, played a big role in shaping the flares, and that was a lot of hands-on work. And I think we're gonna have him on here, aren't we?
Yeah.
He's on our guest list. One of these days, we're gonna
Get them out.
we're gonna get him on here. But that
3D Magic Mic on all the
yeah.
rocker arm suspension.
Yeah.
That was definitely the pinnacle at that time. Probably still is.
Yeah.
Of creativity, engineering, execution, fabrication.
Yep.
Everything rolled into one, and it basically was a fuck it type of car.
Yeah, it was. And that was back. I was still getting my hands dirty back then. Me and Chad put the wide body kit on it. That was like
One call it a wide body kit.
Well, the flares. Sorry, I fucking built it, so I call it whatever the fuck I want to call it. Wide spotty.
When you say wide body
Shit.
kit, it's you bought
Yeah,
something and stuck
right.
it on the car.
Let me, see
There's
your, let
nothing.
me see your hands now.
They're supple,
That's
soft, not
A
like
lot
they
of
used to be.
Jergens.
They haven't built any flares in a
Yeah.
while, have they?
No, they have not.
So check it out in the brand new latest update, whatever that is, in Gran Turismo 7, the Roadster Shop Rampage. It's pretty cool. You can click through all the different manufacturers and come right across Roadster Shop. So that is the first installment of Roadster Shop Hall of Fame build recap. Throwback Thursday on a Friday today.
It's going to be a hard one to top.
Oh, we started out hard.
You go big.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got the streetcar version of that we can bring up next.
Yeah.
The sister car. That
But that's on for another episode.
Sorry.
It's time for listener questions. In this segment, we take some of your questions that you've sent us on the interwebs, all the social
The
media
World Wide
channels.
Web.
Yep.
Put it out there on the line.
We actually got a couple of questions via actual snail mail. Yeah. Actually,
Mailed in.
Mailed
Are
in.
you serious?
No, I'm lying.
They were faxed.
Nobody uses
From
that
prison.
anymore.
We only get those from prison.
From prison. Collect call. Do you accept the charges from? All right. In this segment, we take some of your questions. If you have any questions for the crew, be sure to send them our way via Instagram at Roadster Shop. Just hit slide into our DMs.
Don't look at me with that awkward face while you do that.
First up, any plans on making a Land Cruiser chassis for the FJ60 and FZJ80?
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. I
What's
don't even know what those letters and words are
Hold
you're
on.
saying.
You look up the
Google it.
FJ60.
Yeah.
I'll look up the FZJ80. This shows this is how real the fucking podcast is.
We do the FJ40
FC.
chassis, and we've got the longer one in now
Yeah,
that we're
that's
scanning.
that's a cool little.
I
little
think
car.
the one we've got is the
Little truck.
FJ60.
Okay, so the FZJ80 is the newer Land Cruiser.
Let me see.
That's like that.
That sucks. No, the answer is no. We don't. Who wants a chassis for that?
Did you just surprise the questions we get on the info at Roadster Shop on what you can build the
Okay,
chassis
that's a
for?
no.
a wrong.
That's a no.
That
That's a no.
Jeremy doesn't know what he's talking about. If you would like a chassis, the answer is yes. If you want a chassis for it, get us the vehicle. We'll scan it, design it, custom, bespoke to you. Now,
FJ60
Yep.
is like the first SUV style.
what's
These
it
are
made of?
cool.
That one
I
can
like
get,
these.
That one I can get down
What's
with.
it look like?
That's a cool little ripper.
Not the mail truck version.
Right.
One looks more like a
Okay.
Cool graphics.
Jeep-ish. Yeah, they have
Yeah.
badass graphics.
I feel like the era that must be like what almost late 80s into the 90s.
That's a
you know?
97.
Yeah, it's
The answer is always yes.
yes, but
Yes. But,
yes and no.
Yes, but you're
For
not
elected,
excited.
yes.
Oh.
Yeah, that other one's cool.
So the one guy that sent him about the Land Cruiser chassis, you have just been
I apologize.
No, if you got an FJ60, we're all in.
Yeah.
Yep.
FZJ80.
Not
Yeah.
so much. Maybe not so much.
money's green. I think the truck could be cool.
I feel like I grew up with those in like the high school parking lot. That's not
Yeah.
something you put.
So did the OBS.
This is true. I drove one.
Yeah.
But that's badass. Yeah, the OBS is cool.
I listen to the podcast while I'm production TIG welding at work or anything else I'm doing at work. Really great stuff. Keep it up. My mind wandered off the other day and I asked myself, why aren't there any white Roadsters? I know there are a few out there, but it's just black, 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 red, black, flat black. I'm open to excuses or reasons.
Yeah, the
There's
white.
been a handful. Jesse Greening built that one. I don't know if it is a T-bucket considered a Roadster.
And
Yeah.
Kindig did one as well.
Yeah,
Kindig
Dave did.
did.
Back
one.
in the day, nobody did them though. Like
Yeah, white's too
everybody,
modern, safe of a
yeah,
color.
everybody moved away from it. Like
Hey.
the first white car we did was probably the Nova, I
Yeah.
think, because
Well-
it was the white was like edgy. You know, you paint a Roadster back then when it was like the street rod era. You're either painting it Tangelo orange
Well-
or red, black, yellow, or
An actual Roadster, a hot rod Roadster, is supposed to be hardcore. It's supposed to be masculine. It's supposed to be muscular. It's supposed to be badass. Johnny Clash only wore black.
this is true. Why did he wear black? Who did he wear it for?
He wore it. What do you mean? What do you wear it for?
This is
Oh,
the
I know
man
the
about the
song?
song. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thousands who have died.
Yeah.
Yeah, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But he didn't fucking wear white.
No.
Yeah, he's not Colonel Sanders.
So there's your answer.
Yeah.
Johnny Cash. All right,
Johnny Cash.
There's your answer.
There's been a few that have done it, but
Jesse Greening.
in general, white has been more clean, more sophisticated.
More modern, high
More
tech.
modern.
Yeah, white
high
has
check.
its place. Yeah,
White-
white's
absolutely.
badass on a lot. We just sprayed a OBS in the booth right now. They're actually spraying white as we speak.
Sure are. Now, why? I don't even know if I'm going to read this one. Why,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would
let's just
100%
move past
skip
this.
that one.
why are there no spec Miata diecast cars anywhere in the new studio? Well,
We've been busy
just because you
because
can't
we've been busy.
just because you can't see them on camera doesn't mean there's not any in the studio.
So that's an exterior wall, and what we're thinking is, like, if you look at the width, a real Miata, I feel like if we could just lay that thing down at
Yeah.
some point with a forklift, Miata up, wall down,
I think next time Phil's
we're gonna
out,
bypass the whole
next time
die-cast
Phil's on
thing.
vacation, summer vacation this year, we hinge that.
You guys shot me down on my air conditioning cover of putting a Miata front bumper and lift the hood up to get the AC to blow
Yeah,
through
but
it.
you're not really going to see it. It's kind of off camera.
I
it
would
needs
see
to
it.
be
I'm looking
seen.
right at it.
I promise you, if you don't think there's been discussions
daily.
daily about how we're going to integrate
Real
a Miata,
quick, we skipped over that. I feel like we touched on it a little bit. Somebody is into the Fieros.
Dude, I'll own that. The fucking Fiero's badass. It's a fucking supercar.
explain.
This is mid-engine American. It's the first American supercar.
Nope,
Yeah,
says no one.
yeah.
Let's call
Find-
up Eddie
find-
Ultraman
hey,
right now.
Find
Let's
one
see what-
person who's like, fuck a Fiero. Everybody you talk to has like some sort, like a Fiero's
It's
like a
the
guilt.
only chance he's
Dude,
getting a Diablo,
No.
a Countach, and a Testarossa.
Yeah, it's a
is
guilty-
starting with a Fiero.
It's a guilty pleasure.
You don't deserve a Countach or Fiero if
No,
you've
that's why
driven
he's-
a Fiero.
It's a kit car version. You start with a Fiero.
Yeah,
and
you can turn it
into
in whatever the
anything.
hell you want. It's like a choose your own adventure.
Uh,
No shame in my game.
How do you scale a business from just a couple of people to where you are now?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. Don't worry about the employees. Worry about the product. The employees will come.
Yes and no.
I mean, you got to like have the thing.
You have to have the thing to build. You also have to have the people to build it, to scale it and grow. I think the biggest thing is get your processes down, figure out how you want to do everything, then bring people in and start shedding some of that off.
That's a great answer, but when you had 7 employees, were you worried about the process?
No, you're
No, I
about
think-
building what you want to do, but then you need to be able to grow by taking that and spreading it out and having more people do it.
Yeah.
You're not going to grow doing everything 100% yourself and trying to have extreme control over it and do it only the way you want to. You need to departmentalize that, figure out how you can make some of it easier, faster, more repeatable.
Right.
Spit that off while you try to keep focusing on growing the business and going in a bigger, different direction while you have some of the, I don't want to say more mundane tasks, but the easier tasks handled for you.
I guess
Yeah.
my reason of saying that was don't worry about the number of employees and don't worry about the growth. That will come as the thing. Worry
Yeah, I
about the
think-
thing that you're doing
I think,
and then continue to grow that.
structure and processes, I think, are really, really good. I mean, you look at us today, and when we started, we were 3 or 4 employees, and we had virtually the same quote template and organization, which is something Phil created. And here we are with 80-ish employees and utilizing the exact same quoting template. So you've got to have some pretty good structure and organization, and then you need really good people to be able to scale that. And that's you can't just pile on and just start bringing in bodies. That was something that I think that we didn't see eye to eye with our father. That was something he always said. He's like,
Just get bodies in here.
Just get bodies. We just need people. Well, you can't just have people. You have to have
The right
very
people.
good, talented people. And I think it's just you gotta scale slow, very slowly.
You hear a lot of places explode overnight and then they just get lost and get killed because they can't keep up with it. I think you have to grow organically. You got to, have the processes in place. You got to have the right people in place to then take care of those processes. You have to have the right people in place to then improve those processes when they can focus on certain things and keep growing every area of the business together rather than just swing for the fences and
Right.
hope something follows.
That's 3 completely very different and very cloudy answers to all of it.
I
But
think that was
I
cloudy.
think mine was pretty straightforward.
it was. Well, only reason I said what I said is I had
a lot
to
to
ha-
drink.
no, I had we were actually I was just talking with Mark Giambavlo from Creative at Nashville, and we were talking about the same thing. And just in the years that he's kind of put in, the years we've put in, we're talking about doing the shows, doing the stuff, and it's very easy for people to look at the appearance first. Like, we need to get the big rig, and we need to have multiple employees, and we need to do this. My point to that was that will come as the business grows, and you'll need those employees, right? You have to have the right employees to do the right jobs. We would not be where we are right now without the employees that we have. But it's not. We don't ever look at it as like, well, we need to get to this many employees, or we need to get to this size, or we need to get to this. That's a byproduct of doing the next thing or the next thing in volume or the processes that will take to do that.
You have to have just the right people in the right places, and there's no job that is not as important as the next. I mean, Brian driving the truck and handling the show, that the show schedule, that's just as important as what I do on a day-to-day basis, or what the engineers are doing on a day basis. If we can't get the rig to a show and get the booth display set up properly and managed, I mean, I can't do it, you can't do it, Phil can't do it. There's just so much going
every
on.
single-
Perfect example of the scaling. That used to be me and Dad would drive.
Yeah.
We would leave here Wednesday at 8:00 at night, drive straight through, get to the show at 9:00 in the morning, set up, do the show all weekend, tear down Sunday night, drive straight through the night, get back through on Monday. you just can't do that anymore, but you had to have that experience to know what we
Right.
want to do at each show, where we want to be, how we want to display, hire the right person to be able to do that for us, shed that onto someone who is capable of taking care of it and representing us the way we want to, and then let them run with it. And you got to do that, I think, for every aspect of the business.
The fact that we're sitting here right now doing this podcast, we each, all three of us each have our group of guys
Yes.
that is handling the shit that needs to be handled right now.
Yes. That's
While
that's
we're sitting here
That's a great
drinking
I
whiskey.
mean, that's a great point. John York is down there basically running shit,
right.
more or less. And you have to have department leads. You have to have just very good, talented people that have the same vision as you, that can, alleviate your workload basically and run departments. I mean, I
Right.
lean heavily on Johnny. Does a hell of a job. Basically running the hot rod shop at this point. So you've got to have the right people in the right places and the right structure to the business. You just cannot put the hammer down and hire and just roll. It just doesn't work. It's just never going to work like that.
But to your comment, you don't need to scale if you don't have a good product.
Yep.
Exactly. You have a shitty product and then you don't have to worry about it at all.
There's all of your answers.
It
Yeah.
circled back eventually.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was. Hey,
That was a
nobody's
a
listening to this
simple
for the
question.
bullshit.
Yeah, simple
Yeah.
question, but it's a very complex question.
Yeah.
At the same time.
All-encompassing answer.
Yeah.
Last but not least, what kind of timeline does it take to complete something like the new Survivor Series 67 Camaro?
I don't know which
I guess
is
that
the new
depends who promises a
67
due date.
that they're talking about.
Which salesman did you get?
Yeah.
No, generally speaking, you're probably 6 to 8 months on a simple, I don't want to say simple, but our standard Survivor build.
Once it gets started,
Yes.
after all the scheduling and shit's been
Getting
built
all the
on the
parts
backside.
here. Right.
Yeah.
So when they get more involved and get into more of the one-off custom stuff and some unique fabrication and more body mods and machining stuff on the motors, they're probably in the 8 month to a year range.
Anything Survivor Series can range from entry level at 6 or 7 months all the way up to 12 to 14 months if you get real crazy and want to do something nobody's ever seen before.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the most recent one we did, that 69, the blue Camaro, that was a pretty cool project. That it came in here a little unusual in that it was already like a fuel injected, pretty fresh, small block Chevy, super nice paint and body, very clean car. And, other than just waiting its turn in line, I mean, that was probably
That's probably 3 months.
a
start to finish, but
3-month.
About 5 months. Yeah, about 5 months. We don't need to tell.
Well,
They all don't go that fast.
There is a
That
lead
one-
time to get it in here, but once it's ready to rock and roll, that's a great kind of I think that's a really good future for the Survivor car build because there's only so many original paint grandma Camaros, Chevelles, so on and so forth.
That's a sexy car.
It's a beautiful car. If you can find yourself a nice $50,000 super slick restored clean car, do your due diligence. Floor pans are clean. The car is wired well, and those are great candidates. You can turn them and burn them very quickly and have a phenomenal car to drive.
That's less Survivor Series build and more
That's what
chassis install plus.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, we reused all the wiring in the car. We disconnected everything, put it back in. We reused his motor, trans, cooling system. So that wasn't a full Survivor build.
Right.
So it took a lot of the time away because a lot of stuff was already there and
But there's
properly done.
There's very few that are candidates for that.
Yeah,
They're not.
there
They're
are.
not all.
You've
they're not
got
all.
to scrutinize that car that you're purchasing to get something that's to that level that you
Right.
can do that with.
Gail Banks is an industry-leading engineer and entrepreneur. His innovative contributions to enhancing the performance of internal combustion engines began in 1958 and has been sought the world over ever since by automobile manufacturers, drag racers, hot rodders, and the U.S. military. You can learn more about Gale Banks' company and their many performance products at official.bankspower.com and follow them on Facebook and Instagram at BanksPower. Also, check out Gale's new podcast, Speed School Podcast with Gale Banks. Gail Banks, welcome to Oil and Whiskey.
So tell me about the whiskey.
We are drinking.
Start off with the most important
Yeah,
part.
that is the
Absolutely.
most important.
This is Middle West Spirits Straight Weeded Whiskey. This is a first-time try today from Michelin Reserve. Something new.
So you taste something new every pod?
We
Yep.
try
It's-
to.
It's becoming a bit of an expensive hobby now that the three of us taste a new bottle because we oftentimes
should-
finish that
No.
bottle, on the podcast. So
They should be giving you whiskey just to taste it. I mean,
I think we're going to get there eventually. That's
And
what we're
we'll
working
quote you.
yeah,
Once we get up to about, I think we go double-digit listeners. Once we get to like 11 listeners, then I think we can start.
Yeah,
coming in.
Yeah, we can start getting. Yeah. Oh,
well, I see them back there on the shelf. Those must be some of the other whiskeys you've tried, huh?
yeah, we've got a little.
You've done a hell of a
stockpile.
lot of podcasting, it seems.
We've
You got
done
that
a few.
many bottles of whiskey.
Well, we just threw out a couple boxes of empties, so that speaks more to how many podcasts we've done. But
This is
that's
what's
the-
coming up next. This
Yeah.
is the on deck
yeah,
circle.
yeah.
With that intro and as many years as you've been doing it, I feel like I should refer to you as Mr. Banks instead of Gale. I mean, I feel a little bad saying Gale Banks.
Yeah, my dad was Mr. Banks.
So tell us a little bit about the childhood, how it became. It says here you sold your first motor at age 16.
Yeah. My dad asked me to put a head gasket on my mom's 31 Ford in 1954. And it took me over a year because I took that 40 horsepower engine to 105 horsepower with all kinds of pre-World War II speed equipment.
Wow.
I mean, that was really an adventure for me, acquainted me with how you hopped up an engine. And even to the extent of, those things didn't have insert bearings and they had splash lubrication. I mean, it's crude stuff. So it was a Model A Ford four-cylinder. I went to a Model B to get pressure oiling, Model B block, and I used a Model C crank to get counterweights on the crankshaft. So stuff that's very routine today was quite rare. And I didn't want to, put a V8 in it because everybody else was putting a V8 in their Model A's or their 32 Fords. So I learned, it was one of those adventures, converted it to an F head, but what was called a 4-port Riley head on it, a couple of Winfield downdraft carburetors, a Wyco side drive mag off a farm tractor, built my first header, Auburn clutch, Durant connecting rods. It's all this kind of adaptation of other stuff. Iskey Cam, he had been in business for quite a while at that point. By the way, Ed Iskandarian just celebrated his 100th birthday. If you guys have ever heard of Iskey.
Oh, who hasn't?
Yeah.
It's the first guy to sponsor me in a race car, 1960. So I hot rodded that Model A, and I put a 2-speed rear end in it, and I could blow off, Chevy 6s. So until 55 Chevy came out, and that changed the entire hot rod ball game, so to speak. I blew the rear end, the 2-speed. I got a 41 Chevy coupe, a business coupe, and I put a GME 270 engine in it and hot rod the living hell out of that, and ignored the Model A. So one day I come home and the Model A is gone. My old man had sold it. I said, well, who'd you sell it to? Well, a guy I railroaded with. Oh, okay. So what'd he pay you? He says, well, I bought it for $35, so I sold it for $35. God knows what that speed equipment would bring today. We never talked about the Model A again, my dad and I, until he passed. We never, ever had that discussion.
That was a
again.
sore spot. Huh?
Yeah.
I was going to
Yeah.
ask, back in the day, like before internet and YouTube, how did you figure out how to do all that stuff? Just for our listeners now.
For the guys who can just jump on YouTube and figure it
Oh,
out
yeah.
now, when you had to do it the old-fashioned way.
Was that Phil asking that
It
question?
was.
I'm telling you right now, I'm from Southern California. I grew up here. I was born here. I used to be proud to say I was born in Hollywood. Now I don't know if I want to associate too much with those cats anymore. But anyhow, you grew up in Southern California, going to high school. You walked to high school, you rode a bicycle, or you had a car. And if you had a car, you got more dates with better looking women than if you rode a bicycle or walked. I'm just saying.
So that was
That makes sense.
We had this opinion, all of us guys, that the louder the car, the more attention you got from the women. Now I know it is like, who the hell's that jackass with a loud voice?
And nobody talks about that when you talk about like the early days of speed equipment. I've never heard
Chase
that
and
it
tail.
was driven by Chase and Tail. That's awesome.
Well, I'm more interested to know from then on, did your mom realize that it wasn't just the head gasket that made it that much faster? Like, was she surprised of like, oh, just a head gasket? That thing's pretty peppy.
Yeah. She never drove it again. I worked on it for about a year, but you know, you have to search out this antique speed equipment, and I had to mow a lot of lawns, weed a lot of flower beds. I had hundreds of dollars in that thing. I want to remember my dad in the best possible light, so I'll stop talking about this.
We'll move on to the next. So famously, in your formative years, you paid your way through Caltech with funds from your speed shop.
I wanted to go to Caltech.
Okay.
I went to Cal Poly.
Okay.
They're both in the same area. One's in Pasadena, one's in Pomona. So I went to the Pomona one. Cal Poly was a hands-on engineering school. Caltech was more ethereal. The one thing that was good going to Cal Poly was they had an electrical engineering curriculum and they had a mechanical engineering curriculum. So I double majored. The electrical part is really good today because maybe 25, 30 years ago, the microprocessor started controlling engines and powertrains and all that jive. Well, I'm real comfortable with that stuff. So we started building tuners and all that kind of jive. My early business was very much a marine engine business, boat motors. Started with a blown nail head Buick that I did in 1960 for a boat that was up on Lake Arrowhead here above San Bernardino, 6,000 feet of elevation. Guys take their boats up there and they fall on their face. No air density up there. So I was going to Bonneville. I had a 53 Studebaker. I was running up at Bonneville and El Mirage Dry Lake. And I've always liked more than a quarter mile. I like a quarter mile, don't get me wrong. Eighth mile, it's like, don't blink, you'll miss it. But I'm a endurance engine guy. I figure that's more of a challenge. Run it at full song for 500 miles. Man, that's hard to do. We ran a race at Parker, Arizona called the Parker 9 Hour. I was 9 hours in the Colorado River, 13-mile course, 6.5 up, 6.5 back, with a one-pin turn, like a hairpin turn, wide open throttle for 9 hours.
That's wild.
Are these like V-drive boats, like little drag boat type?
They were dominantly V-drive boats in the 60s. It got to jet drive. we ran a tunnel boat. You might be familiar with that, but we went up there with a Mandela. First time, ran 7.5 hours and broke a crankshaft. So the second year we went, we were first inboard in our Mandela. And then we went again and we were first inboard. These are big block Chevy boat motors. And I started racing with Sir John Hamilton out of Christchurch, New Zealand. He invented the jet drive, and the Kiwis invented river racing. And I don't know if any of you guys
that river racing is absolutely wild to watch. I haven't seen it like any sort of vintage river racing, but to see it today, those guys are nuts.
This was vintage river racing. It's kind of in the 70s. 1975 was the first year John Hamilton and I joined forces, and Kiwis came here, lived with my wife and I, babysat our kids. It was family all the way. I loved racing with the Kiwis. We won from 1975 to 1980. We won 5 world championships racing with the Kiwis.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
I bet that mid 70s, late 70s is that offshore stuff keeps getting crazier and crazier. And there's some interesting customers, I'm sure, with the.
Oh yeah, the offshore racing. We were also in the 70s doing offshore racing with the cat boats, not the V-bottom guys. Check that. I had one V-bottom customer out of upstate New York, and he brought his boat out here, and we won the Powerboat Magazine Performance Trials 2 years in a row with that boat. That's a P-bottom. But if you really wanted to go fast, you ran catamarans, big ones.
A lot of cash customers for those motors back then, right?
Well, I think the 70s back in the 70s, they were still running on gasoline. It was the 80s that started running on cocaine. You know?
Well, we would run on 130 avgas. We won real well in the mid-70s with our 930 horse endurance engines. They were twin turbo, charge air cooled, and 200-mile races. And we got to run 500 inches just like the naturally aspirated guys. Second year, we got to run 400 inches. Trying to level the playing field. Third year, it was 358 inches. It's hard to build a big block Chevy that small. So a lot of this boat racing, the third year, we won the national championship at Key West and set the kilo record, flying kilo record, with the same engines that had been in the boat the entire year. Very reliable. The turbocharged marine engine caused the American Powerboat Association to ban turbocharging in offshore. They allowed it back in. The world figured out how to do it. Mercury Marine, more precisely, figured out how to do it.
How much of those big Mercury, their QC4s, how much of that is inspired by original Banks creations that you put to the test way back when?
There was one other company in the Midwest that did the Merc 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder kind of workboat engines. There was no one else in the United States doing what we did. We sold the engines all over the world. Renato Molinari in Italy set the Italian national speed record on Lake Como with one of our engines. He built tunnel boats as well, Renato.
Well, it's quite the testament to your quality of consumer products. It
got us into military, actually.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So if you can make it live in the marine application, then obviously around town stuff is going to work fine. But the military thing is where I was going to kind of transition to next. I mean, you started working with the Naval Special Warfare stuff, which I guess DevGru now, and SEAL Team 6, and that's some top secret stuff that you're dealing with, and number two, that's got to be a completely different measure to be met on the performance and durability side of things.
Certainly different than the hot rod industry.
Yeah.
Working with those guys preceded SEAL Team 6. They were called the UDT Frogmen out of Little Creek, Virginia. And what they wanted was over 500 horsepower on 84 octane. And I'm going, what is 84 octane? How do you make gas that bad? Well, we don't, was the answer. But
other places
we want
do.
to run these boats. We want to run these boats somewhere else. And they had looked at the world. What's the worst gas in the world? Gale Banks. And so they had to import this gasoline for us to dyno the freaking things. 535 horsepower, we ended up. They were V-drive. Department of Defense decided no more gasoline on board ship. So they wanted diesel.
Had you been playing in the diesel world before, or was the military your introduction into the diesel market?
No. I've been buying big block Chevys out of Tonawanda engine plant and small blocks out of Flint. They had this operation down in Romulus, Michigan, where they were designing a new diesel. They had done in the 70s what was called the Olds 350 diesel. You guys might not be old enough to remember how bad that is.
Josh, do you remember that at all?
Vaguely.
It was the worst diesel engine. It ruined the diesel market for 5-6 years in the United States. I did a national championship engine program for Oldsmobile in jet boats, and we won the national championship in 1970. This is a single quad, stock-looking 455 Olds. We also won the Parker 9-hour with the same program. So when they decided to do the diesel, I was invited back to talk about how we made the engine live in the boats. They rationalized that we had run 12.5 to 1 compression and turned the engine 5,200 RPM for 9 hours. Made 544, something like that, out of that thing. They went, well, we don't want to make that kind of horsepower. We're not going to turn the engine that fast. It should live. I said, diesels have a higher compression ratio and probably higher firing peak pressure than our race engine did. And I had head gasket issues. I had to O-ring the thing. So I said, if you're going to do a diesel, put 6 bolts around each combustion chamber instead of 4. Shorten that bolt span. What else did they want to do? Oh, they wanted to run the flat tappet camshaft. Well, they didn't listen to what I was saying. They ran their normal tappet diameter, and they flattened cams like mad. Basically, I told them, if you do what you're intending to do, the heads are going to hit the hood, and the crank is going to hit the street. But they freaking knew better. So in 1978, they came out with a 6.2 liter. And it was kind of a GMC and Detroit Diesel joint venture. And if you look at it, there's some Pontiac V8 styling in that engine. Well, GMC's in Pontiac, Michigan. Pontiac like neighbors. So the engine was a great improvement. It was reliable. They wanted me to do a twin turbo marine version of it and see if we could compete with the 3208 Cat P8, which is a big ass heavy duty diesel. Well, the 6.2 would not take the joke. It was not reliable. But I got to see and got to get deeply into a diesel engine. And then Pontiac in '79 sent us a Sunbird. They wanted us to do a dealer specified option or dealer installed option turbo system for a Pontiac Sunbird, 4-cylinder front drive.
Interesting choice.
Both are a crime against nature, 4 cylinders and front drive. But I was real interested in it. But we got blocked by the California Air Resources Board at that time. I just did a podcast of my own with Peter Triday, who runs a SEMA garage, and he's an expert on emissions. He worked here for 20 years, and then SEMA snatched him. He was my emissions guy, and we were talking about this '79 deal with Pontiac. CARB stopped the whole deal. EPA wasn't a problem. We could do the deal, but California was a problem, and there was no EO program, no way to certify what we were doing. And I started meeting with CARB about 6 or 7 months into it. Pontiac got tired of waiting, took the Sunbird back and the dyno engines. They just left with me. But they came back later, and they came back with we'd run Corvette at Bonneville. We started a series of world's fastest passenger car. First one was a 53 Studebaker with one of my road race engines in it, which was an IMSA road race engine, which would be late 70s. We went 217 on a 180 something record. Then we went to the sports cars in 1980. One of my endurance marine engines got Automotive in a 68 Corvette. We went 240. This is goddamn fast at that time. You go back to 1980, that's 42 years ago. We're going 240 in a 68 Corvette, which ain't aerodynamic whatsoever. They just look swoopy. And I get a phone call from Pontiac, a guy I had known as Bob Dorn was the chief engineer at Cadillac. And I had bought my wife a mid-sized Cadillac, and I wanted to turbocharge it, and it had front drive V8 setup, weird. And so I went back and visited with Bob Dorn at Cadillac, and he told me, don't turbocharge that engine. I got another one coming, which was the Cadillac North Star. And he warned me off the then current engine. But we got to be friends. And then I actually consulted him somewhat on the North Star. And then he went to Pontiac as chief engineer of Pontiac. And there was a guy named John Chanella at Pontiac who was the chief stylist. He did the '82 Firebird. And there was a Chevy version of it too, Camaro. So it's like late 1980, or no, actually early 81. Popular Hot Rodding had put out a double truck picture of the Corvette on the Soul, 240 Sporty. these guys were reading that magazine and called me. And I went, you guys in Detroit actually read our hot rod magazines? You got to be shitting me.
That's cool.
They said, yeah, we got this new Firebird coming. It's been in the wind tunnel. It's the slipperiest production car produced in the United States up till now. I said, why are you calling me? We want to prove the Aero. We want you to take that powertrain out of that Corvette and put it in one of our Firebirds. And we guarantee you a minimum 20 miles an hour. So I said, 260, huh? I've been dreaming of 250. Okay, where do I get one? And well, it was like 1981. There were none until late 81. So they said, go to the proving grounds, Mesa, Arizona, with an enclosed trailer. We want people to see it. And your Firebird is waiting for you. So we went and got it, and we ended up running 277 one-way mile, 283 back door on 280 mile an hour tires. Wow. Mickey Thompson fronts. We'd have gone faster, but I didn't want to kill Don Stringfellow, who was driving the damn thing. So that was the second year. Here's the cosmic part of this. First year, we go up there and guess what we ran? 260, dead bang. At 20 miles an hour. That's the two-way average, 260. 267 one way. I went, you guys, you nailed it. Absolutely nailed it.
They promised you 20.
Yeah.
My only question is, why not the Fiero? Because I'm hearing Cadillac Northstar, Pontiac. All I'm thinking is Fiero, like Northstar swap Fiero.
I got to tell you about the Fiero. I got the inside on the Fiero. That was John Chanella's pet. He loved the Fiero. So V6 Fiero with a turbo. Never saw the light of day. It was quicker than the then current Corvettes.
Yeah. No wonder, it's just too much car.
God, I'm telling you, Chanella wanted it. He actually built a few of them. I believe he was told by corporate, nothing beats a Corvette. Scrap that program. He took one of them home, and I believe he still has it.
There you go.
Yep, your
Turbo
unicorn.
Fiero.
You can start chasing that.
Why, are you a Fiero
He's a
nut?
huge Fiero
Jeremy?
guy.
No, they just
he likes
kinda-
a mid-engine sports car.
Phil pokes at me. I've always wanted, something kind of mid-engine and exotic. So they kind of force around that the Fieros is the only thing I'm getting.
Well, why the hell not? I mean, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of a cool car at the time. They were all over the desert proving grounds when I went out to get the Firebird. Same years, talking about the proving grounds, Lloyd Royce was chief engineer at Buick. A guy named Herb Fischel was the high performance guy at Buick. And they wanted to do a Buick that would be on the cover of Hot Rod magazine. There'd never been a Buick on the cover. It was all Fords and Chevys and, Mopars. So we got a Regal. We had helped on the turbocharging of a Buick for Indy, I think 1977, 78. The pace car was a Century with a turbo V6 in it. So we built the granddaddy of the Buick Grand National. You guys familiar with the Grand Nationals?
I like to think we're building at the moment the granddaddy of the Buick Grand National, but go ahead.
We're building a Grand National as we speak, as a matter of fact.
I'll be damned. Then the peak of that is a GNX.
Yep.
And but that was like 86, 87. So in 80, we built a twin turbo 3.8 liter V6 and completed a car, which I took to the Desert Proving Grounds. It was 454 horsepower. It was a quick Buick Regal. And that thing lived at the Proving Grounds for almost 2 years. Normally they build a concept car, they crush it. They build a show car. It might go in the GM museum, but normally they get crushed. Everybody in the corporation, including the chairman of the board at the time and the president of General Motors, drove that Buick Regal.
That's pretty cool.
And it started the whole Turbo Regal program. A guy named, who I called Tall Jack from Garrett, Air Research, sold them turbochargers. I consulted them on the turbo system on the first go around, which was really kind of hokey. I didn't like it at all. It wasn't fuel injected; it was carbureted, and it was a draw-through carburetor. It looked like a Q-jet, but it only had the front two barrels operative. And the turbo sat on the back end of the V6 and blew into the intake manifold. No charge air cooling, nothing. But it was air fuel mixture with the blowing in. So the front cylinders were rich and the rear cylinders were lean, and they stuck back cylinder pistons. They had all kinds of warranty on those carbureted Buick V6s. And then they went EFI, fuel injected the thing, moved the turbo forward, and it's all just dry air going in. So the air fuel ratio was uniform in all the cylinders, and whoa, suddenly you got a hot rod going on there. And Walt Ware was running Air Research at the time. He works here now. He's 1 week older than me. So there's two old dudes here. I helped Walt with the campaign, the Buick campaign. They were his customer, but Walt was my friend. So we traded favors all our lives, so to speak. And Walt came up with this crazy, wild, high-tech turbocharger. And to diminish the turbo lag, the turbo response, he did a ceramic turbine wheel in that turbocharger and a lot more compressor. They were a pretty quick response. Have you ever driven a Grand National or a GNX?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we drove this one we had here before we pulled it apart. If you kind of brake boost that thing, it'll get moving a little bit.
What year is it? The one you're working on?
87.
Okay, you're right there. Yep. Was it a GNX or
just a GN?
GN, yep. Okay. GNX had body chassis stiffening. There's all kinds of other stuff other than that turbo. And I think they rated it at like 276 horsepower, which was a damn lie.
I think we got them beat by 1,000, don't we?
Yeah, like 1,200 something.
Yeah.
But those cars would do rolling burnout, so it's like that car would 15, 20, 30 miles an hour. You get the tires.
Yeah, you'd lace them 11.
Part of the program at Buick was to build an Indy version of the engine. I think it was 209 cubic inches for Indy. Splay valve heads. Scott Brayton put one on the pole at Indy, running on methanol, of course. So that was the pinnacle at the time of the Buick V6 development. An acquaintance of mine, Kenny Duttweiler, he carried the V6, his V6 flag until this day. So I went on to V8s and didn't want to do another V6 for the rest of my freaking life. And this guy named John Rock took over GMC mid-'80s and met him at the International Truck Show out here in Anaheim for breakfast, mid-'80s. I can't remember exactly what year. And he says, hey, you've been turbocharging our 6.2-liter diesels, and we're not having any trouble with warranty. You must be doing it right. I said, well, we try to. Well, at that point, Ford had come out with an 83 with a 6.9. The Dodge Cummins was not out yet, but Ford was kicking their ass. They did a 7.3-liter version of the engine, no turbo, the Ford. We did turbo kits for those as well. I left out a thing. In the Pontiac program, GMC gave us 2 pre-production engineering trucks with 6.2 diesels. And they were pigs. So we turboed them. And by the time the trucks came out, guys had heard about our turbo version of the truck. It wasn't even out yet. So we went ahead and tooled the damn thing when the trucks came out. And we sold our first 100 almost instantly. It was hard to believe. We ended up doing 8,000 or 9,000 of them in the run of the 6.2 trucks. And that basically started the performance diesel aftermarket. That product right there, that's a seminal product of a performance diesel aftermarket.
That's wild.
And then in '83, we did the 6.9 Ford, and we sold the hell out of those. We still sell them. I think we've discontinued the 6.2 one, but anyhow, John Rock approaches me because Ford's kicking their ass, and the 6.2 engine plant in Moraine, Ohio was a 17% capacity. So he says, hey, this is over breakfast. I have to make a judgment call here, Gail. Either I shut down the engine plant and we no longer have a diesel pickup, or I shut down the engine plant and find another engine like Cummins, but Cummins is already working with somebody else, or we offer a turbo version using your turbo system and create some spin and validate the engine's strength. And we sell them through our 2,500 GMC dealers. I said, well, what's the hook here? He says, well, you warranty the turbo system, we'll warranty the truck. And I said, well, how are they going to, the dealer's going to put them on? I said, no, you're going to put them on. I said, well, where? He
where am I going to do that?
Some place close to the Flint assembly plant. So I got with some Detroit guys. We set up a 5-acre impound yard in Almont, Michigan. They shipped the trucks and the Suburbans to us. We turbocharge it, charge them to do the intake and exhaust system, the instruments, everything. And a 100-point inspection just to make sure. I had learned when they did the Turbo Corvairs in '66, a life lesson. A buddy of mine, Hugh McInnes, was the chief engineer of TRW turbochargers. TRW supplied the Corvair turbos to Chevy. And Hugh got a call late one night, 2 a.m. actually. Hey, we got trouble with these turbo Corvairs down here on the assembly line. Can you come down? He gets down there. They were having trouble installing the windshields. But it was a turbo.
Yeah, turbos can
Call
do
a
that.
turbo guy. So we made sure when we did the turbo program
that they didn't
with
get in the way of the
GMC,
windshield.
yeah, that the turn signals worked. You know, the power windows, if it had it, they worked.
So you said you kind of like blew through that really quickly. You just kind of dropped that you set up a 5-acre impound lot, and then all of a sudden there's turbochargers being installed. Like that sounds like a pretty monumental task. I mean, it sounds like you're making light of that. What goes into creating a facility, and what's the volume like on something like? I mean, it's got to be thousands and thousands of trucks, right?
Probably at the end of the day, yeah. Volume was pretty good. It was a real boost for us. It validated our aftermarket product like nothing. To have an OEM choose your product and offer it through all the dealers. We did the marketing. They gave us 3 new Suburbans. We did our thing and drove them all over the United States, letting the dealers drive them. And PBS Motor Week, John Davis, I want to say. We went to Owings Mills, Maryland, and he did a show on our program that really helped.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's amazing to me, and I hope anybody listening understands that you're saying that OEM program really was a shot in the arm for the credibility of the aftermarket program, right?
Yes.
That's great. But I can't imagine being in your shoes at that time when you want to tell the public, you're like, screw what General Motors or Ford thinks. Like, realize we're doing it for the SEALs, right? If we can make the SEALs happy, then I promise you, I don't really care about the soccer mom that needs to make it to the grocery store. We've got guys fighting for our freedom, and our motors are in those. That's got to be a difficult position to be in there and not be able to tell the things you want to be able to tell or market.
We know what the fuck we're doing.
Gail might be a little more humble than you. I don't know.
You want to see?
I'm getting that.
You want a C story? I'll give you a C story. Cummins was having a hard time pre-2000, and they hadn't come out with their common rail injection system, which they did with Bosch. I meet a guy named John Stang. He was a member of the board of Cummins, and he and I were doing a lecture at the same place, same day. So we attended each other's lectures, and we got familiar with each other. And I said, nobody had gone 300 with a diesel at Bonneville. And I told him, I got a streamliner with a 1,200 horsepower in it. It's been 386 miles an hour. I think we could easily go 300 with hot rodded Cummins. I wanted to do the diesel record with the Cummins. So, are you interested? He said, yeah. Anything would help. I said, what's up? He said, well, the Dodge Cummins is kind of sales have fallen off. Our Cummins stock is down below $30 a share. It had been well over 100 prior. Then he divulges he's the guy running the development of that engine program and their V8, which was very secret at the time. He invited me back to talk to his guys, which I did. And 42 out of 102 volunteered to help. They had Cummins had no money to give me, not 10 cents, but they would give me advice. They gave me dyno engines that were worn out, development engines. They even hot rodded one with a larger HX40 turbo and made 400 horsepower and sent it out to me to see if our dynos matched, which they did within 2 horsepower. But they wanted me to run their V8, but there were only 2 V8s running at that time. So I had to disappoint the V8 guys. I went in eager for the V8 because that was unobtainium. That was really trick. I wanted to do their V8. But, in development, they were under 300 horsepower. My goal for the liner was like 750. I thought with the aero of the car, we could go 300. So I told him, a guy named Dave Koberline was running the V8 program. And I told him and his guys, I said, you don't know if you've got a girl or a boy.
You could do that back then.
Yeah, you
You
got to
can
be
tell
careful.
right now. I can say I'm saying it right. I'm saying it right now because I'm just not woke at all. You got to see the Ricky Gervais special, by the way.
Yeah, I've heard it.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
He's got himself,
Oh, man.
got himself in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah. Anyhow, we chose the 6. I bought a used Dakota. We put the engine in the Dakota, quick change rear end, did all the normal race car stuff. And drove the Dakota onto the Salt with a race trailer behind it. The year prior, we had done 10 years prior, we had done the world's fastest pickup with GMC using the S15. We had John Rock asked me to help him with a diesel engine. He also asked me to help him with the sport truck market. They wanted to be in sport trucks, GMC. So this is the late 80s. We drew up a half-ton short bed, big block truck with a pair of turbos. Did all the renderings of the exterior of the truck. Had a wing on the back. It looked bitchin'. And we did the engine bay with the injection system, Ram type injection. Anyhow, we go back to a marketing and sales meeting. All the general managers and the marketing and sales guys, each division of GM were in this meeting. And I think we were in the old GM building, downtown Detroit. So we lay out our rendering for the sport truck, this GMC sport truck, and the guys from Chevrolet went, you know what? You guys have 17% of the corporate truck market. We have 83% of the corporate truck market. If anybody does a big block sport truck, it's going to be Chevrolet. Why don't you guys do the S15 Sonoma or something like that? And I went, oh man, another V6 program. It's like, oh my God.
Just put a damn Grand National motor.
I don't want to do this. We walked out of there with that out the big block. I love big block Chevys. And Chevy came out in 90 with the SS, the 454 SS, 230 horsepower, 87 mile an hour pig.
Oh yeah. But it said 454 SS on the side.
That's a half horsepower per cubic inch, right?
It's a hot
That's
rod.
kind of romantic. I ended up owning 3 of them, a 90, a 91, and a 93, which was a red truck. So we did the S15. We went to Bonneville. Originally, we wanted to go 200 miles an hour with the sport truck, the half ton. But now we got this V6 and a Sonoma, and it's like we changed the goal to 175. I couldn't turbo the truck because the guy who was a marketing manager at GMC said, Gale, we don't sell a turbocharged pickup truck. So I said, I thought we could charge air, cool the air, because it's like 100 degrees a lot of times when we run at the salt flats. And sure as hell, it got over 100 when we ran the first year with the Sonoma. We ran 194 FIA world record, and we blew off Al Holbert's 928 Porsche record with a pickup truck. We took an international record. His record was like 186 with it.
There had to be some good marketing. A pickup truck beats a Porsche.
Porsche probably didn't like it.
You know what?
Porsche.
You know what? That's a great point. I told the guys, you got to run an ad. We beat Porsche with a pickup truck. And they said, well, here at GM, we don't name competitors in our advertising. I said,
Well, you ought to.
since when is a Porsche a competitor with a GMC pickup truck? It's two separate animals. So they did it. And they did it in, I think, Motor Trend, if I remember right. One goes down the street. They showed the stock pickup. One goes down in the record books. The other one goes down your street. We went back a second year because I had tuned that thing at the Salt to 199 miles an hour. I had aluminum on the ground straps, and I kind of went, this thing will not be another drop. I pushed it to the edge, and they're going, the GMC guys, well, we got to go 200. And I said, you're done. Next January, they called me, hey, we took the engine down, we pulled the heads. Did you know you burned some of the pistons? I said, that's why we didn't blow it in front of the press, because they had Learjetted, 2 Learjets full of journalists out of Van Nuys Airport. And, I became the den leader with the magazine guys. It was fun. So we went back the next year. And by now we had named the program. Guess what the name?
What?
GMC all-wheel drive turbocharged pickup truck. What's it called? Cyclone.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cyclone.
So
and
we named the
Typhoon.
project Cyclone. We went, put on better cylinder heads, better interjecting, spun the engine faster, higher compression ratio, went 204 with a 210 one way. So that was our 200 miles an hour. A bunch of us sat down, started brainstorming a production version of the truck, because there's the sport truck. And I looked at Rick and I said, we're going to have to turbocharge the production one, because this thing's going to be a pig with a stock engine. So we did. was all-wheel drive, used a Astrovan transfer case out of some strange-ass Astrovan deal.
I don't know if they want that advertised.
Dude, the
Well, probably
It's
not.
done and gone now, but-
So,
Astrovan,
hey.
that's
So
something that needs to be talked about. Where did those
that, this was the comeuppance for Chevrolet. That all-wheel drive V6 turbocharged and intercooled pickup truck blew off the Ford Lightning, blew off the big block.
Yeah, the Lightning wasn't
SS.
much other than a cool sticker on the side of
Not back
Yeah,
then.
230 horsepower motorhome engine.
the.
You know, I mean, good God.
Great sticker.
Oh, big. I did one with 1100, 375-inch twin turbo, 1115 horsepower, small block.
Damn.
I think I put that in my 91 and went out, just shucked gear teeth off a Doug Nash 5-speeds. It was terrible. I sold the engine to a guy who builds trikes in Las Vegas.
Oh, Josh has
Imagine
some experience on a trike.
1115 horsepower in a trike.
How many
gotta
horsepower was
be.
your trike?
The Gale, they will never let me live it down. I never owned one. We had to do a little repair on a 57 Chevy inspired trike with an LS1, and I had to test drive it. And I will tell you that, and this is like an automatic 4-speed, and while I did not look cool at all, that had to be the scariest, most fastest accelerating thing I've ever driven in my life. And I mean,
Oh God!
yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how well it performs or how much horsepower it has. If you're on the edge of death, it's
Scary.
pretty exciting. Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah,
On the flip side, he doesn't look cool now either. But
You're right.
I'll bet you look awesome.
Yeah.
so the Navy part, we ran the Dakota at Bonneville. After towing the trailer onto the salt, we ran 222 was our best mile. And got a lot of ink. The Navy guys called. They wanted a Marine version of that engine for those Swick boats. And we did a Marine version of that engine, and they were running them. So all over the world.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
I got to ask you about to steer back to the diesel stuff and the more current stuff, because in our industry, I think I speak for a lot of guys. I love diesel motors. I don't know a lot about them. And we get a lot of inquiries for like diesel motors and chassis, diesel motors and car builds. And we've got a cool little Chevy truck program we're doing. I've got a current project that we're looking at swapping like a mid-2011, 2013 Duramax into. Where do we go for that? What's your recommendation? How do you get something like that started? Because if you want to LS swap something, I mean, you can jump on GM's website and buy any crate motor, any ECU, any trans controller. But the diesel stuff, you kind of got to know your shit.
It's like a dark art.
It is. It's intimidating. Where does a guy go when you want to do something like that? And how do you build just safe, good horsepower? How do you outfit like fuel pumps, turbo systems? There's a lot to know there.
Is this a customer truck?
Yeah, customer truck.
Yeah, I'll help you out.
All right. So you're the guy. Well, I know you're the guy.
You
with that
guys
stuff.
helped me out. Jesus, you helped me out something fierce with Lockjaw.
How's that thing coming?
We had the wrong blower. We've got the right blower now. And I want to have boost at idle. That's the beauty of the blower on the diesel. We've done a lot of blown diesel stuff with and without turbochargers. So this thing is blower only. And it's going to be the first version. We're doing a turnkey diesel engine series. And the blown D-Max based engine will be our first offering. I think we're firing it next week. Yeah, I'm looking off camera here.
So that's what we need. We need
Yeah.
that. I need that crate motor ready to go with a tune.
Well, that would be ultra badass.
Plug it in.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be insanely badass. But that would not be a used engine. That would be a new engine.
Well,
We're
used,
not gonna-
new.
we're not-
We make the chassis, we make the mounts. You get me the motor. That's
Yeah, how come nobody's touched on that yet? Like
You
you were
guys,
saying, there's a bunch of
well-
guys building crate motors for the LS and Coyote stuff, but nobody's touched the diesels on the crate engine side.
That's why we're doing it. Honestly, that's why we're doing it.
It
Nobody
needs to be
else is. You know, there's one-offs that I theorize there's a demand for this.
there's a huge,
So-
there's a demand probably bigger than you know. I mean, we see
And
it
you know,
constantly.
building Lockjaw with you guys, that scratched that itch for a lot of people. And when we fire it,
I can't wait.
It raised a lot of questions.
let me tell you,
That's for
the
sure.
people at Duramax, they have an annual picnic. With COVID, I think they've skipped a few, but they have a new Duramax engine plant. We're going to take Lockjaw and drive it onto that picnic at the plant. They've asked us to do it.
That'll be cool.
They wanted a JLTV, which is our military program. But the Army and Oshkosh truck, it's not happening. So we volunteered Lockjaw, and they're just nuts. All the gearheads that work at Duramax, you'd think that everybody would be a gearhead, but to some people, that engine plant is just where they work. To most of them, though, they're real proud of us winning this business with the Army. And they're just jazzed to have. They've all been following the 43 videos we've done, that series.
The videos are great.
And they will want to hear it run too. So, not to mention all the people on Facebook and every place else. Jesus.
It helps when you have Jay on there too. I mean, he doesn't shut up, so you got to you got to watch him. You know.
How dare you?
It came out of nowhere.
Yeah, kind of scary, you know.
I mean, Gail brings the energy on those, man. They're entertaining.
Well, Gail, we could talk for absolute hours, and I will say this right now. We've done a ton of podcasts. I'll go ahead and step out on a limb.
Go ahead.
Absolutely the most knowledgeable guest that we've had yet.
Oh, yeah.
And the
Gail Banks.
widest spectrum of everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
The most
Boats.
accomplished, most knowledgeable.
I think we're going to have to do
Very
a new
cool.
segment. We're just going to have to. I think you're going to be our new lifeline. When we have a guest on and it's something we get stumped on, we're just going to have to call Gail. Oh, we'll call Gail. Gail will know.
Whether it's a vintage banger camshaft question or a modern diesel, he's
Absolutely.
He's our guy.
The phone is always in my pocket.
Awesome. Well, we reached the point where we ask the standard questions, the questions that we ask every single guest. Some of these are going to seem a little weird. Some of these seem a little normal, but we're just going to go rapid fire. So, what is the best car movie and why?
Oh my God. Oh, there are so many. I don't have a favorite there. There's one, no. Clint Eastwood. Dirty Harry, the Mustang, and the Mopar
Okay.
huh?
in San Francisco.
Yeah. That was,
Yeah, you
that was,
don't-
that was the
San Francisco?
first. That was the first dirty.
Yeah, you don't
first.
think about that.
Yeah. Well, Dirty Harry. He's
I watched that about a year ago. I still enjoyed the hell out of it.
I like that. The anti-woke comment fell by a Clint Eastwood film. That's good stuff. You're my kind of guy.
and still lives in California.
Yeah. Yeah, what the hell are you doing in California?
I'm hiding out. I mean, it's just
What is your proudest achievement and why?
my children.
How many do you have?
4.
4 kids. They in the
Yeah.
business?
One of them is my daughter Elizabeth. She's our ops manager. And one of my grandchildren, Eric Ryder is his name. He is a natural when it comes to fabrication. You guys would appreciate Eric Ryder.
We met Eric when he came out for the video.
Yep.
Met Eric, and we met him at SEMA as well. Yeah, Eric's good.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was your grandson.
Well,
Kind of keep that hush hush, huh?
yeah, I don't want to put a strain on him, you know.
The big shoes
But-
to fill.
And now we come to the final question, the one we've asked every single guest ever since we started doing this podcast. What is in your pockets right now? You have to do a pocket dump. What is in your actual physical pockets?
The key to my Cadillac Blackhawk,
Oh, Phil. How about that?
Blackwing.
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 Yeah.
Blackwing. It's one of the originals. They only built 825 of them.
Wow.
Uh,
It's a cool car.
twin turbo, twin intercooled, all-wheel drive, all-wheel steer.
What is your honest opinion about that car? I know that we're steering away from the pocket dump, but you've driven a lot of shit in the last 60 years. What is your review of a quick, 2-minute review of the Blackwing?
It's not the supercharged. There's only supposed to ever be one Cadillac Blackwing. And that's the one I have. My daughter Elizabeth also has one. She's one hell of a road race driver, I might add. Every time I drive it, I smile. It's a badass ride.
That's his
That's,
best
that's the
review.
review.
Yeah, that's his
Yeah.
best.
That's all you need to hear.
I'm telling you, I own a 2006 Ford GT, which is a mid-engine car. It's the most beautiful car I've ever.
Oh, that's a gorgeous car.
And it's also a car that can kill you. And
That's we've got a good friend. Tim has one, and it almost killed him
Tim's looped it out a couple.
in a traffic circle at like 5 miles an hour.
well,
There's your mention, buddy.
I'm just saying, there's no nanny state bullshit in that car. There's no traction, nothing to protect.
You got to be a man to
your
drive it.
sorry ass.
Absolutely.
If you get over your head, you're dead. I love it.
That's great.
That's an awesome review. Oh,
Other thing in my pocket, a challenge coin.
ooh.
Yeah, we haven't
From
seen
who?
that.
From who?
Yeah. This is DevGrew.
Oh,
This was given to me, and I just dropped it on the floor.
that is something.
I'm not familiar.
Has-
with
So
challenge.
DevGrew, that's Naval Special Warfare
Okay.
Development
Development
Group.
group.
So that's
Yeah.
basically the skunk works of the SEALs,
Okay.
right?
Seals
To
Hot
de-
Rod Shop.
to develop all the cool shit.
So that's a big deal.
And it's also SEAL Team 6. Now it's SEAL Team 6. All the terrorists, hostile. That's the
Wow.
baddest of the fucking bad. The fact that you've got, I will say right now, I'll mark it down. That's the coolest pocket dump we've had to date. A DevGrew challenge coin.
Tough to beat.
Yeah,
Huh?
you can't beat that.
Yeah, I'm not familiar, but that's really cool.
Yeah, very cool.
They're very rare.
Do you have one? of
And
those?
I've had
I
in my
do
pocket
not.
for decades.
I do not. No, not many people have those.
That's cool.
It
Yeah.
brings me luck. I
But
firmly
should.
believe.
If you've
Yeah.
made if you've made the SEALs happy, I will say we strive on customer satisfaction every time. That's the hardest part of the business probably, is making sure as we grow, that we continue to give that customer the best product that we can put out. However, I can't even begin to imagine the stress or the weight on your shoulders when you're having to please not just the American government, the military, but you've got people that are fighting for your freedom, my freedom, y'all's freedom to do what we want to do, and you can't have your product be the thing that lets them down. That's something that's completely different than anybody we've talked to.
I think when you get to the point that the military and the government is reaching out to you because of your product,
yeah,
you don't have to worry about it.
No,
because
honestly, you should.
It's badass.
That should be really that should be your magazine ads. Yeah, the SEALs trust us. Yeah. Fucking call us. Yeah. Here's our number.
I can't. I can't. I can't.
I know. I know you can't.
Yeah. I'm already nervous about showing you the coin. You know what I'm saying?
I understand. Gail, it's been absolutely a pleasure.
Very cool.
I appreciate it. Let us know if you ever need anything. Jeremy's going to reach out here in the near future, I'm sure, to figure out a crate motor package for the new truck we've got coming out.
For sure.
And we look forward to seeing Lockjaw firing up.
Cannot wait to see it.
Well, thank you so much.
Hey, seriously.
Yep.
Great episode with Gale.
Yeah, Gale's a cool guy.
The amount of knowledge that he's got, I hope to be that savvy and memory.
Yeah, you're already not.
Yeah, you have. Yeah.
I'm looking for the right words.
Looking for the right words on memory. Yeah, it's
have that good of a memory at that age.
That's a neat thing because most people, including myself, I mean, when you think of Banks, you immediately think of like diesel turbos. You know, you don't have any idea the amount of just crazy shit that dude has been involved with over the years.
And I mean, anybody that listened to the whole episode, they're going to pick up on, I mean, the offshore shit, which was amazing. I mean, working with the Navy for several decades, and I don't know if we can tell this, but still, and I mean, the land speed record shit, and then, I mean, Grand National, GNX, Typhoon, Cyclone. Yeah. I mean, Cyclone. I mean, that's something. And then the diesel shit. I mean, it's pretty crazy. So big thanks again to Gail Banks. Remember to check out all of his stuff at www.official.bankspower.com and follow them on Facebook and Instagram at BanksPower. But before we go, in this episode's final segment, we're going to break down some of our new favorite pieces of gear. And it's time for everybody's favorite. We keep getting, we do a poll every single week and ask everybody what their favorite segment is. And unanimously,
this is it.
It's the glove box. All right, it's time for the glove box, where we tell you about some of our new cool favorite pieces of gear, guns, EDC shit, whiskey, and other stuff we're into. But first, we got to talk about Stillhouse, because Stillhouse sponsors the glove box. Stillhouse glove box is brought to you by Stillhouse, and
tonight's the night. This kicks it off, right?
Phil brought in a smorgasbord of things, because Phil's the first one to go for
tonight is his night.
Stillhouse crafted cocktail.
I feel like it doesn't need to go any further than this. This is like a one and done. It's going to be pretty hard to top.
That's not how competitions work. You have to present yours.
I'm a craft cocktail connoisseur. So
that's a tongue twister.
Yeah, it is. But you just wait and see.
You know your way around a cocktail. The Stillhouse has 6 different spirits.
That's enough out of you. Dude, you realize this like 3-4 feet for me to come across and whoop your ass.
What did I say?
Don't act like. Oh.
Let the listeners decide.
Yeah, you know your way around a cocktail.
Yeah.
Craft cocktail.
Why would you take offense to that? I'm giving you.
I have no idea. I really don't know why I would. But.
Stillhouse has actually 6 different spirits in their portfolio: original whiskey, black bourbon, apple crisp, classic vodka, peach tea whiskey, and spiced cherry whiskey. Drink Stillhouse whiskey, the unbreakable spirit. Find Stillhouse whiskey at a store near you by going to stillhouse.com and using their store locator. That's STILLHOUSE.com. Tonight, Phil's bringing it with the spiced cherry whiskey.
The spice cherry.
So before we get into the glove box, brought to you by Stillhouse, tonight is the night where Phil thinks he's ready to enter his cocktail into the competition.
We've discussed this already, that we believe that the Stillhouse Black Bourbon is a killer. Drink it neat, drink it on the rocks. That's a bourbon that you just want to, you don't want to dilute it, mix it.
They sent us like
much of
4
anything?
bottles, I think, and I think we're down to, or it's 4 cans. Sorry, 4 cans. And I think we're down to 2 cans, maybe 1.
Yeah. But when you get into these, like the spice cherry, the apple, the peach, those are things that are
But at this time,
awesome cocktail.
At this time, it's time to hand it over to Phil Gerber.
That's Phil's.
It's Spice Cherry Whisker Whisker. Spice Cherry Whiskey, Phil Gerber Special. What's your cocktail? Tell us how we make it.
So I haven't tried this one yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be delicious because
You didn't practice before?
I didn't try it with the cherry. I've done regular bourbon, and it's my go-to. Phenomenal summer drink.
I think you're coming in the last place.
I
Highly, I'm
doubt
allergic to it. Like fucking sneezing up a storm over here.
that. Must be allergic to winning. All right, so this is
It's fucking lemonade.
This is a lemonade.
Simply.
Yeah,
Simply
I think the
lemonade.
listeners
It's
know
key.
what lemonade is.
Simply lemonade is key, or a good not from concentrate lemonade. I just like the pulp that floats around in there.
Made with pure lemons.
So lemonade.
You got to get good lemonade, otherwise it tastes too sweet.
Yep.
Then we go a little bit of agave sweetener.
Organic agave in the raw. Organic agave nectar.
Could be a strip club announcer.
I just read it. Next up on the stage is agave.
And a little bit of ice. Phil reaching into the Stillhouse cooler for some ice.
All right, then a little bit of rosemary to finish her off.
Rosemary on the stage next. Rosemary.
Bring her in. Come on down to the stage, Rosemary.
What do you got for ice?
It's fucking ice, dude.
Yeah, Phil's bringing ice from a bag. Bag ice.
In a Ziploc bag, there's ice.
Long ass cables. I didn't have a martini shaker, so we went with a.
No, absolutely not.
Boo.
I'm putting the foot down right now because I know how little that's been washed.
It was just washed the other day.
I'll tell you what, if my cocktail's not as good, my presentation's going to be significant.
I threw this shit together last minute, and we are missing a lot of key items.
What
So we
items
might
were we
need
missing?
a cocktail shaker.
Okay. But
So
all
this
the
is
ingredients are here.
I went out and got all the
All right, put
ingredients.
it together. Let's bring this thing together.
All right, so here's my go-to. Give me a glass.
Well, you got to mix this thing first,
No,
right?
we don't. We're just gonna wing it.
Oh.
All right.
You know how I know Phil's
there-
losing?
Hey, is there a ratio on this?
100%.
Because people want to know ounces. You know, like a good Manhattan, you can make or
Oh,
break that.
Half ounce here or there. Let me tell you something. You put one
just-
dash of bitters too much, you know what you get?
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you go to like TGI Fridays and you see the guy coming in with the bitters and he's just, you know.
If he's carrying a conversation on with you while he's fucking dashing,
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't realize we had a bunch of cocktail snobs here. I
Yeah,
thought we were just
absolutely,
drinking
dude.
whiskey like men. Apparently not. All right. Little bit of agave.
Oh, you're putting it first, huh?
Right in
Yep,
the glass.
put it first in the glass.
Okay.
I just didn't know I needed critiques. That may have been
Hey.
a little.
Oh, you didn't know, but you're going to get them.
Look at that.
Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, a little bit more.
Just drizzle it down in there. Still,
Then we're gonna go
Stillhouse is never going to just revoke the sponsorship.
This whole episode might need to be redone.
No, I think you're bringing it.
You think so?
Yeah, last place, but you're bringing it. I mean,
Then we go with some spiced cherry whiskey.
you're not. We got shot glasses in there. You could measure it.
No, yeah.
Eye it all up. That's where it's at.
Hey, I was worried about getting second place. Not anymore.
You're going with like the classic rum and Coke count, huh? It's like the 1, 2, 3, 4.
Go with Dad's approach.
Yeah.
Count to 12 and then a little Coke for color.
Yeah.
That's back when you're in the Florida days on vacation. Fresh lemonade. in case anybody
Fresh,
was concerned.
simply lemonade.
Throw that down.
Is that chilled?
It is. Nicely chilled.
Oh, wow.
A lot of lemonade. So this is a cocktail for the ladies.
It's
then.
a lemonade.
Yeah, so this is for the girls.
Oh, sweet. I've had lemonade before. Have you ever had lemonade?
I had my kids do a lot of lemonade stands, and this would be great, like a great addition.
You guys get none, okay? Go a little ice.
That's
This whole
frozen
thing's-
frozen water for you. Amateurs at home. If you don't have ice, freeze some water.
Just chuck it.
And you get Phil's hands just fondling your fucking ice.
This is yours right here.
Just not ready to let that ice go.
Do you feel that the cold ice is better than hot ice in this application?
I think cold ice is generally the best. You guys are ruining this.
No. I was giving you a segue for hot ice.
Then the key, a little sprig of rosemary for a little flavor.
You just jam it in there, or do you stir it around a little?
Well, get your knife out because we have short glasses.
Look, I'm gonna teach you something here. Haven't you ever been to any like nice cocktail bar?
I have, but I don't pay
Look,
attention.
here's how you do one of these.
Open it up.
Yeah, and you open
Let that
it up.
sucker breathe.
Any cocktail bar you go to, I'm telling you something. You smell it? You fucking smell
Oh,
it?
it's really breathing well. This is
No.
yours. Here.
Am I wrong?
Fondled ice.
You're not wrong.
No.
We don't have anything great to stir, so we're breaking out.
Oh, is that the ladle?
Do you have like any small like Christmas ornaments or anything we could drop in there?
You guys ready?
No, that was the one I found.
Oh, that was yours?
Oh, this is
That one's
yours.
mine. How do you know that's mine?
Yeah,
So I get the full
He
Christmas tree.
he
Yeah.
finger
Wait.
fucked the shit out of that one.
Let me see that.
No,
Let me see that.
you can see it from here.
No.
See with your eyes.
No, because I know that this one's mine. I think this.
That's not yours.
Are you sure?
Ugh,
You're children.
both
All right.
of you.
For those who don't know, if you ever like that, that's
This is the perfect way to hand somebody a drink.
that's a great way to hand your buddy a cocktail.
Yeah. That's,
Grab that sucker and
Put
just
that finger right
place
in.
an index finger in it, and yeah.
I'm going in.
So,
I'm going in hard.
All right.
Stillhouse, cherry, a little bit of agave,
Rosemary.
lemonade, and a sprig of rosemary.
You have ruined.
Let's see what we
this
got
table.
here.
That's a drinker.
That's
That's
good.
quite nice.
Yeah, you can drink that. You can absolutely drink that.
Hey,
That's actually.
I can't believe the amount of fucking cherry that comes through
I
with
know,
how
that's-
much
yeah.
lemonade you put in it.
I wanted.
Did I put more?
Straight serious business. You fucking practiced before this.
I did not.
There's no way you just came in here and just yanked that.
100% just winged
So
it.
Josh is going to kick it up a
Yeah,
little bit.
going a little higher.
Yeah, kick up.
Oh,
I wanted so
Friday.
bad for this to suck, just so I could slam him. But it's a pretty good cocktail.
Delicious cocktail.
Hey,
Cheers, fellas. That's a good summer cocktail. We're coming up on summer car show season, and that's not a lot of ingredients.
no, simply lemonade, some rosemary.
And you could do without the rosemary if
Agave.
you're on the road.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but
Adds a nice little flavor
seriously,
to it.
would you be a gentleman if you did?
Nah, you'd be a dandy if you do, though.
Yeah. How are we going to? All right. The only way to know who wins for sure is we've got to rate this right now.
No, you can't rate it. I don't think it's a rating.
Are we going to remember?
Nope.
It's this is not a spirit forward cocktail.
No, it's a. If you add more spirits, it definitely
Yeah,
can be.
you know how it can be a spirit forward.
By adding more spirits.
Yeah.
I'll do a little bit. A little bit more. It's a hot rod shop version of a cocktail.
Dude, that's
right
good.
here.
You give yourself a little floater,
floater?
on the top.
That
Spice cherry whiskey floater on top
Nice.
of that cocktail.
this isn't just for recording purposes. That's damn good.
It's good.
But what pisses me off, that's why you ran and did it. Because I know what you're doing. Because the peach tea whiskey, I've been working for 2 weeks
Have you?
with very similar ingredients.
Because this is my ingredients. I've been making this cocktail for
Yeah, I
a couple of
understand.
years now.
I understand that.
So you can't just come in and try a different flavor.
I didn't
and
even
claim
know
it's
this was
yours.
happening tonight. This caught me off guard.
Yeah, it feels very sneaky. Very, very
We
sneaky.
talked about it. We got to do it. And we had like 3 episodes of, we got to do this.
I mean, yeah, my cell phone never went off. I'm like, hey, we're doing it tonight. That's fine. Phil brought the heat. What are you calling this cocktail?
Don't have a name.
Throw the PGS on it.
It's a reserve name.
You think so? Just for the ice cream?
Yeah.
So it's got spiced cherry whiskey from Stillhouse. It's got some rosemary. It's got some agave. It's got some lemonade. I'm going to call that something when I come up with it. I'm going to come up with a good name for it.
And when you do,
Yeah.
So very key. Can't go overboard on the agave because it gets real sweet real quick.
Yeah.
You can always add more. Can't take it out.
that's, I'll tell you what, though, that's a good mixer. Because starting with Phil's like 2 to 7 count, and then like it was
Topping
good.
it
It was
off.
good from the start,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
topping it off.
I can't.
Still
I'm
good.
really-
The floater on top was a
dude.
good addition.
I'm
It's a
very
team cocktail.
surprised at the amount of cherry that you get with the lemonade and how good it is.
Yeah.
No bullshit. That's really fucking good.
Yeah. I mean, what's your alternative?
Do you think we can get the wives come pick us up tonight,
Probably.
or just Uber home?
Yeah, it's probably easier
Uber.
to just Uber home.
Yeah.
What's
Less explaining to
do. Well, that's where we are for the Stillhouse, America's finest oil and whiskey cocktail competition. Phil Gerber, first entry.
It's a solid entry.
I'll say
Dude,
he,
that's
he,
it. That
he
is,
brought it.
I will say, as much as I like to, talk a little shit and bust some balls, that's a good cocktail, and that's going to be hard to beat.
I'm
Not
going to go ahead and say it's
impossible, but
Not
hard.
impossible.
neither one of you will. It's not like a proper cocktail. It's more of a by the pool, on the boat, hanging out in the summer.
That's
Good drinker.
That's good shit.
Yeah.
That's really good shit. But the whole reason we're doing this is because Stillhouse is bringing you in the glove box, everybody's favorite segment for oil and whiskey. First up, who's going to go first and dump their pockets? What do we got? Who's
That's
going?
you.
I'm
It's
dumping
you.
them. All right. Here's
Jeremy,
what we got, man.
You're up.
So after the Blade HQ,
That changed things up a little bit, didn't it?
after we got hooked up with Blade HQ, I mean, we've been Blade HQ fans, been all over their website.
I've got 17 knives in my pockets
Yeah.
right now.
It's I wish that my wife had like a tighter grip on me, because I just kind of just go buck wild on there.
Hey, for everybody listening, Father's Day is coming up real
It is,
soon.
yeah.
Hop on over to Blade HQ. They've got an absolutely amazing website that breaks everything down. You can do it by popularity. You can do it by price. You can do it by brand.
You can do it by style. That's what I like the most about it, is by getting on there and doing it by style, because I'm a flipper guy.
If-
I'll be honest with you, I love the OTFs.
You do.
But a flipper, man, it just gets me. And
Hey,
that's what I'm packing.
It's 2022, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. If you can't buy your father a Father's Day present from Blade HQ, he's not a father.
He's a mother.
Yeah, absolutely. I guarantee you'll find something that your father will love.
100%. So what I'm packing tonight, and I am absolutely in love with this thing. The action on this, it's unreal. It's a CRKT. They call it their CEO, and a flipper, skinny little blade, but man, the action is so badass.
Can I touch it?
You can touch it, and I think it's what would you call that? Like phenolic? Is that what?
Well, this is a big thing as of late. This is the natural G10.
Okay.
This is the G10.
That's how it
and
comes before it's all dyed
Yep.
and everything.
This is a natural G10 before any type of dyes or anything. And there is, I mean, every knife
You've seen
manufacturer
it
out there
everywhere.
is doing that
Dude,
here.
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you right now.
Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead, snap it, so everybody can listen to that.
That is a action.
Oh, it's great.
That's
Cool little
something.
knife.
That's
Dude,
It's like the thickness of a pen.
it is. They call it the CEO, and I think there's a reason for it. I mean, that's a classy.
so the CEO
Classy knife.
/ executive knives
I'd say,
all have that slender.
yeah, tuck that sucker into your dress pants. For me,
Oh, you
I
can
don't-
tuck it anywhere.
right.
That thing's
But yeah, I haven't messed with the blade much. I've been carrying it a little bit, but probably one of my favorite knives. I mean, I've got a pretty extensive knife collection.
But it's affordable too.
I've got some very high-end stuff. And this is, I think, like a $40, $50 knife. And I would put this up there in my, like...
It's a top fiver.
That's a top 5.
Yeah. That's a cool little knife.
One of the coolest knives that I own. Absolutely love it. I can screw at this thing all day long. Just dig it.
That's a size, weight, looks, but the action's where it's at. That's a damn good knife.
Yeah.
And seriously, anybody listening, I mean, seriously, $50. I mean, $45, whatever it is.
Buy 2.
Yeah, get those. Your son and your husband would love them.
Other than that,
What
the
do you got?
usual stuff,
Same
man.
thing.
Yeah,
We haven't found a wallet shit
No.
yet. Nobody's. Yeah.
rocking the money clip. Got the loose single
Oh yeah, that's cool.
in there.
Super cool.
He was dancing this weekend.
Yeah.
Rosemary up on the
Dude,
stage.
How about the money clip though? Like we haven't seen. Now that we're on video, like look at that sucker. Take a look at that. Tell me that's not probably one of the most badass things you've ever seen.
So that's Damascus with that's a gold Damascus.
Yeah. Gold Damascus with a wood inlay.
I don't know if the camera can pick that
Yeah.
up. No, it can't.
No.
We've got. We're
It's
doing
all
a
singles.
we're doing a revamp. I mean,
It's all
obviously we're
singles,
so
that's it.
new, but we're doing a revamp. And I think we're going to do like a camera
Yeah,
down
come
here.
down on that.
Yeah, that's cool. Super sweet. Oh,
I was going to take.
And
all
we
the
haven't.
cash out
And this
give
is
clip
the.
back.
I'm trying to think. Is that
mm-hmm.
the WH brand? And I feel like I'm going to massacre this
No, just don't worry about it then.
because I think it's William Henry. Is that right? Can we Google that?
No
Could
way
be.
to tell.
Huh? You got your phone out?
William Henry dash high-end gentlemen's folders is what it says on the website.
Yep.
So if you're a high-end gentleman,
And you need a folder.
yeah.
Yeah. You go to William Henry. And then here we go.
They probably got them at Blade HQ.
Probably do, but here, outside of that, now that we're on video, the dad wallet.
That's
Yeah.
cute. That's cute. I
It's
remember
built-
when I
it's-
got my first wallet.
It's building over the past few weeks. I've created this. Like, do you get
You're
the?
just trying to shove shit in it.
No,
and
you get, like,
thicker.
right in the
That's
middle.
exactly
Yeah.
what you're trying to do.
No, you get this. Like here, Marco, who's
Joseph?
no, Marco's a solid dude. He's starting on Tuesday because of the holiday weekend.
Right.
Great body guy, going to be starting here. Scribbled that down on a business card.
No reason you should
And
have it
right there
your
in the
wallet.
middle, right there in the middle, you just tuck those in there and you. Yeah, that's.
That is a clear case of trying to stuff the
Oh,
wallet.
Yeah.
no, it's not because these. Look at this. Look at
Phil,
this.
I need a ruling.
Look at this. Hey.
I need a ruling.
Oh, you want a ruling? Here,
It's a bit
look at this.
excessive.
Look at this angel face. Tell me that's not the most beautiful little
You're-
girl
you
you've
went
ever
ar-
seen.
You went
And
around
this-
your home trying to find pictures and
Dude,
things.
look at that. That's been in there. That's been in there for over a year. We need to talk about this because we might need to put a disclaimer on the podcast.
Is he listening?
He listens to it. My son, he's 11 years old.
That's not good. 'Cause You're a
It's
bad
good.
person.
No, it's good. No, I'm a good person. I'm a great person.
That
Says
says the
most
bad
good
person.
people.
We have this thing that every night I carve out like enough time, no matter what's happening. I carve out enough time. We lay in bed and we talk before just to recap on the day. So he tells me he's got this little skater buddy, Richie, and he tells me that he says, "Hey, Dad, I was telling Richie like that he should listen to the podcast." So Richie's been listening to the podcast, and I'm like, "Dude, you don't really need to listen like to the podcast." He's like, No, I told him it's really cool. Like if you want to listen to something that's got swear words in it, and they talk about pocket knives, like it's an awesome podcast. I'm like, oh Jesus.
Hey, I can't argue with him there. If you want to listen to
he
swear words,
he
and pocket
described
knives-
it.
There's a couple.
He
of them.
described it pretty good. Kid, he likes cars,
Does
swear
Seagal
words,
know where he's
and
at?
pocket knives. What's that?
Does Seagal know where he's at?
As far as
Richie.
Richie, I'm looking for Richie. So yeah.
Oh, so next up on the pocket dump, you ready, Phil?
I guess that's me. I'm going to start with an iPhone because I enjoy full-size videos and text messages that don't get ruined by fuckers with Androids like you.
Yeah, Josh sucks.
That's
Josh
I told you.
Josh ruins every
He ruins every group text.
group text with his Android.
No,
and even people on YouTube are talking about it.
Yeah.
First of all,
First of all, you suck.
there is multiple studies out
Second
there
of all, your Android
that shows
blows.
the level of intelligence and creativity is directly tied to whether they use an Android or an iPhone. You are higher of intelligence and higher creativity if you use an Android than
You're
you are.
an idiot for looking up that.
I'm serious. It's a
That's a
well-known fact. You know who
That's-
uses an Android? Elon Musk. You know who uses an Android? Donald Trump. You know who uses an Android? Johnny Cash.
I don't know about that last one.
That's true. That's fact. Waylon Jennings uses an Android.
Real quick, this is 2022. I just want to.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, if
Anyway,
it's 2022, we don't really know. It's just phones.
so yeah,
Yeah.
why don't you?
So I got an iPhone.
Phil, go ahead.
Super thin. Still currently a Amazon wallet.
What? So that's Maddie's wallet, huh? You have your daughter's wallet with you?
I'm gonna stab you with
Look
my
at
knife
that.
when I pull out.
That's
next.
cute. He slid his ID right there in his daughter's wallet. How cute is that? Is that
What do you do with all your things?
I've realized that most of the stuff I carried in my old dad wallet I had never used or never taken out, so I just kind of threw it all out, and my spine is thanking me.
What do you do
I'm
in
working
case
on-
of an emergency?
Where
What's
are your-
four emergency?
Where are your last 4 years
Intro.
of Good Guys member cards?
I threw them all out, along with 7 hotel keys that I haven't been to in a year and a half. Yeah.
The hotel keys I'd get rid of for sure because I wouldn't want any type of tie into the destruction that you left on Sunday afternoon. I would definitely get rid of those.
Purge those immediately.
All right. Other thing, I've got this little guy right here.
That's a
What is that? Look at.
It's a Kershaw Launch 4. Super small little automatic knife.
I'm
It's
very
all
upset.
murdered out.
I'm very upset you picked that and I didn't get to it yet.
Also from Blade HQ. But yeah,
Blade
Cool.
HQ has changed the glove box.
Immensely.
Yeah.
Dude, they've changed my outlook on the Kershaw brand too.
yeah,
because
that's what I was going to say.
Kershaw, when they came out with the chive, the onion, like the Ken onion and the chive, the little one, like that was awesome, right? And then it got a little like
little mainstream.
yeah, it got a little
Yeah.
mainstream, it got a little stale. But seeing that new Kershaw, like those new offerings, holy shit.
Right.
They got
The
a lot of
stuff-
cool little stuff.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
conversation piece right there.
They're honestly
That's-
like, dude, you could put those up there at the top of any brand. Let me see that thing. This Kershaw stuff is rad.
Yeah.
I mean, that little fucker, it's almost a dagger blade.
Yeah, I stabbed my tip of my finger.
It's almost-
earlier.
You're
With-
bleeding right now.
Dude, just killer action
Let me see that.
Little American flag on the backside's pretty cool.
because America.
Yep. Oh,
Almost got me. That's a great. You could tuck that thing anywhere.
yeah,
know-
or you could put it in your pocket.
Well, I'm saying, everybody knows when they go to the city and you go to those places, you're not supposed to carry a knife, and you like kind of
Yeah,
tuck
you
that
sock
in your
it.
boot. Yeah,
Yeah.
you put that in the sock. That's a perfect.
I'll tell you, the CRKT and those new Kershaw blades, those are game
What is-
changing.
coming out
Which
with-
one is this?
It's called the Launch 4.
Kershaw Launch 4,
Yep.
all black. That thing's got. That's got some
It's got
snap
some yank
too.
to it, as they say.
Hold on, I opened it. So
Yeah, so I'd say quit like going to your Snap-on guy and getting the Ken Onion Snap-on edition.
go to Blade HQ
Go to Blade HQ and look at what
and
Kershaw.
go ahead and waste about 3
has.
hours on Blade HQ.
Oh, look at what
Yeah,
Kershaw
that's
has.
dangerous.
Yeah.
You get on that, you better block off a chunk of time.
Like the evening.
So
What are you rocking, Josh?
a real man's wallet.
Who'd you borrow that from?
That would be my wallet, made of genuine leather. All the things you need. First up, got a brand new
Oh man,
titanium
dude,
bolt action permanent marker.
this is something for the fabricator.
Yep. That's first of all,
It's got a tactical action to it.
you done? Yeah.
Yeah.
Full titanium. I've been carrying this for a couple of days. I really, really like this. You never know when you're going to need a permanent marker. This is a very...
Pretty much everybody carries a Sharpie. It's a much more badass version of.
Yep.
I was pretty blown away machine work wise on it.
Yeah, finding the parting lines.
Trying to find the parting lines.
Yeah.
Me and Josh were staring at it, and then you just started like twisting things. Like, ooh, there it is.
Yeah, very, very nicely made.
Yeah. For a guy like Josh who never gets his hands dirty, probably not that important. Like a ballpoint pen might be better suited. But for the fabricators out there,
Yeah. Tell you what, you're fixing to see some busted knuckles. My hands might not be dirty, but my knuckles are fixing to be busted.
for the fabricators out there that can't live without having a Sharpie in their pocket.
That was actually a gift from a very good customer.
It was. This is something that would really class it up. You're gonna impress the guys around you if you deliver. You ain't just sucker out on the job site.
Thank you, John Blumenthal. But it gets better. You ready?
There we go.
But wait, there's more.
What have we got?
When we first got the first shipment from Blade HQ, you all know that we're all a sucker for Microtech. I mean, we're absolutely unanimously fans of Microtech in every way. However, I'm the biggest fan of OD Green
You're the only fan of OD Green.
with the Tonto blade. So,
I like a Tonto blade.
yep.
And you know that.
Yep. So, go ahead and feast your eyes on that. Go ahead. You can't
Yeah.
touch it, but you can look at it.
$100, you can't kill that mosquito that's flying around.
That thing has been driving me nuts all night.
It's
I've been
it's
grabbing
been in
at
here
it.
for 6 weeks.
I thought people watching this podcast are going to think there's something wrong with me. If you watch it on YouTube because there's a mosquito or something in here, I keep.
Oh, that's what they're going to think is wrong with you?
Fuck
So,
you.
this is the new Ultratech 2 T&E. This has got the new machining pattern on the handle. It's in OD green with the stonewashed Tonto blade. And, I mean,
It's a badass
it
knife. If it was in a
does not-
different color.
it
Yeah.
does not get
Can I
any
touch it?
sexier than that.
Yeah. That's a gorgeous knife.
It's a great knife.
Yeah, they do some kick-ass machine work on everything. A
Yeah.
lot of badass detail everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a phenomenal.
Microtech
Phenomenal
and Anthony Marfione, I mean, everything that they put their hands on, I would like to say that they do knives the way we do chassis and cars.
Great hand feel. Man, that.
All right, stop touching it. so
No, I
much.
don't
You're
want
going to wear it
I
out.
don't want to get it back.
You're going to wear it out.
I'm not going to wear it out. Did you hear that?
Great knife. Again, can't say enough about Blade HQ. Thank you. All right, seriously. You're going
I want to try
to
it.
make it fucking sloppy. That's what green looks like.
It's weird. Did they do it in blue?
They probably do.
Dude, that
Oh,
Tonto blade, that's
Yeah.
got to be the best Microtech blade style.
Yeah.
There
I'm a
is.
fan.
you know what that says? You mean business. That's no, I've got a DevGru Naval Special Operations Challenge coin in my pocket.
It's a close.
I mean
second.
business. But this is as close as I'll come.
Yeah, this is a don't fuck with me because I don't have one of those coins in my pocket.
Gail Banks isn't around, but I am, so don't fuck with me. All right. Next up, what are we drinking? Well, first of all, what we're drinking right now is a really good Phil Gerber cocktail. But what we were drinking through the episode,
Tonight's bourbon is a Middle West Spirits straight wheated bourbon whiskey. And this is yet another pull from our epic little journey down to Louisville, Kentucky when we did the Bourbon Trail.
I don't remember you getting that one down there.
So that came from, I sampled that at that Justin's House of Bourbon. And interestingly enough, it's not a Kentucky straight bourbon. It is distilled in Columbus, Ohio. But like always, I think we bring this up time and time again. I'm always attracted to any of the wheated bourbon whiskeys.
wheat.
So I like the
We did.
wheat. And I don't think that this one, I mean, it doesn't leave you empty handed. This is another solid pull. Easy drinker, light proof. I think this is.
I'm giving it a 6.3. I'm giving it a 6.3.
Early.
it's-
I think it's a low,
well,
low rating.
What's the proof on this guy?
If I had to guess, that would be a 96.
If I had
No,
to guess.
90,
You already looked
90.
at it. And
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I can't find the proof on it. Oh yeah, 95 proof. So not terribly
Never
light, but
looked.
Oh, shit.
Swear.
I think it's good. I think it's kind of like a rookie bourbon, I'd say. Very like flavorful, easy to drink, no burn, no real, nothing to write home about. It's just good. It's fine.
It's not going to have a bad taste.
Yeah.
That's for sure. It's not going to have a burn.
Good, easy drinker. A lot of flavor, a little cinnamon cherry.
I'm gonna put that one like, when you're at the hotel bar. If you're at the hotel bar and that's up there, get it.
Oh, absolutely get it. But that's not going to be at a hotel bar.
It's if there's Maker's Mark or Middle West Spirits, grab the Middle West Spirits.
What's your number?
But beyond that,
You're playing around. What's the number?
yeah, I am dicking around here. 6-0.
Damn.
Phil Gerber, what's your number?
I liked it. I thought it had good flavor, smooth drinker.
I liked it too.
Go 6.5.
I'm gonna tell you though, but with my 6-0, it's not because I don't like it. I just think it's like,
It didn't kick you in the nuts.
yeah,
Like, holy shit. Wow.
yeah. I'll drink it all night long.
That's why I gave it a 6.3. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the taste. It wasn't one of those that you were having to like convince yourself past a weird taste or anything like that. It was just good. I mean, I could drink that and get seriously
I'm
drunk.
gonna put it in because of the price point. It's like in the $40 range. I'm gonna put it in the buy it range. So I'm not discrediting.
Oh,
it
it's
to the
definitely
point.
a buy it.
It's
definitely a buy it.
It's absolutely a buy it because I've drank $80, $90, $100 bottles that are nowhere near as good as that. So it's something definitely worth buying. But I'm putting it in rookie bourbon category. It's just simple.
Middle West straight weeded bourbon. We got a 6.5 out of Phil. We got a 6.0 out of Jeremy. We got a 6.3 out of me. Thanks for listening to Oil and Whiskey with the Roadster Shop and Ironclad Original. If you like the show, be sure to leave us a rating and review. Now that we've got YouTube, you can leave a review in YouTube. You can leave a review in Spotify. You can leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Wherever you get your podcast, download it, rate it, review it. Do something besides just listen to it, unless you don't like it. If you don't like it,
Don't review it. Just kind of move.
Stop.
Just move right past
Yeah,
it.
stop listening to it and listen to something better. Thanks again to our guest, Gail Banks, and we'll see you again next week.